Awakening. The Great Awakening. It's October 2017. Something's happening. Something's happening. You'd have to be really, really, really asleep not to feel. Something happening. And you know what? It's an exciting time. It's an aggravating time, but it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time because there is a great awakening. It's as though we've been in some kind of hypnotic trance, just humming along in whatever, humming along in consumerism, humming along in whatever our individual little siloed political identities have been. Just moving along in whatever that is with those kind of blinders that we've been talking about. And there's a great awakening that's taking place that's letting us see that there's so much more than what meets the eye, and that we are not on our own little individual journeys. This great awakening is taking us to a place of a transcendent awareness where we're now able to start locating ourselves in something greater than ourselves. I want to say that again. It is so important that you locate yourself in something greater than yourself. Just let that sit in for a moment. Like, yes, you are your own individual tree, so to speak, but you exist within the context of the forest. And you will never understand what it means to be a tree without grasping the fact that you're part of the forest. There is something bigger and larger than our own individualistic personality expression. Any healing will take you to that. Any particular practice that you do, I don't care what religion it is, I don't care what kind of modality it is. If you go to therapy, yes, you'll do some deep inner discovery, but at the end of it, what you'll come out knowing is that you're part of something bigger. You go into recovery. You're going to come out knowing that there's something bigger. In fact, whatever it is that we're so obsessing on as our own individual experience is part of the reason why we try to anesthetize. We try to anesthetize because we can't see that there's more to life than just what's going on to us and the narrative that we're giving it. There's a great awakening that's taking place. An awakening is different than a finding and chasing after something. Okay, we're here in California. Okay. This was one of the last states in the Union that manifests destiny from sea to shining sea. We just got through with what some people call Columbus Day, which some people call Indigenous Peoples Day, and I don't have to go through a whole treatise on what that meant to go from sea to shining sea. Okay? But we're here. And part of what got people here was the gold rush. The gold rush, which was actually a hoax. There's not gold here. Like, gold was sprinkled here into making people believe that there was gold here to make them come west. So people were chasing after stuff. And you have all these shanty towns and these boom towns where people would come, but then they were deserted because what they were looking for wasn't there. We have the equivalent in our lives all the time of some kind of gold rush. Like somebody somewhere sprinkled some stuff out there to convince us that our good and our power and our prosperity and whatnot was over there, just like a puppeteer, a marionette jerking our strings, and we're running over there to wherever stuff's been sprinkled, only to find out that our good and our power isn't there, only to find out once we get there that there's us. And that's ultimately what we have to deal with. You awaken. You don't achieve it. You awaken. You don't earn it. You awaken. You don't go out and retrieve it and attract it. You awaken. You already have it. All the power that you will ever have is already within you. All the love you will ever have is already within you. All the creativity, all of it's already in you. The question now is, what is it going to take to awaken it? Do we have to hit the bottom? Do we need a 2x4? Can we have vision pulling and not just pain pushing? The awakening. But see, when you awaken, you have to awaken to all of it. If you're cleaning out your house, you don't get to just clean the clean parts. If you're cleaning out the house to make it clean, you don't just get to clean the shining stuff that everybody already sees. If you're cleaning the house, that means you're going to uncover some stuff. You're going to turn some light on some places. You're going to move some things out of the way that are obscuring the view of where the little dust bunnies or the things are. You're going to pull up some carpets. You're going to pull up some shades. You're going to open some drawers. We got a whole lot of stuff tucked in a whole bunch of places. But when you go to clean up, you're going to see some stuff. I'm just saying. You're going to see some stuff. Some stuff is going to be real familiar. Some stuff going to be real familiar. Some stuff you're going to forget you even had. Some stuff you're going to wonder, where the world did this come from? And what's it doing up in my house? Where did this come from? What's it doing up in my consciousness? Where did this stuff come from and what it's doing up in my body? Why have I got this stuff up in my space? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. When you clean the house, you start finding stuff. But guess what? That's the point of cleaning the house. Don't get upset at the dirty stuff you find. That's why you're cleaning house. So you should be very grateful that you've got a little different view. Okay? So I'm 5'5". My refrigerator's probably 6'5". Maybe 6'3", something like that. 6, I don't know, but it's taller than I am. I can't see the top. Okay. Now, somebody 6'5", 6'6", walking around in my house would see the top. Are you with me? Do you know how dirty that thing gets up there? It just amazes me. I don't bother to look. I don't bother to notice. And I'm just cleaning up my kitchen. I think, ooh, my kitchen's clean. Until I'm looking from another view. Are you with me? I vacuumed, everything's good. Then you go looking for that one sock. Or you go looking for that one thing and you look underneath, woo! Boy. There's stuff underneath there. Some lost stuff. Some dirty stuff. Well, guess what? So it is in life. Probably figured that out by now. We're cleaning house in this great awakening. And we're getting a chance to see everything that needs to be cleaned. How does the dust get there? It's around. It's floating. And the dustier it is the greater evidence of how much we haven't done anything about it. So we can get mad at the dust for accumulating, but if there's that much dust, it's not the dust's fault for falling, it's our fault for not cleaning it up as it was falling. Listen to what I'm saying. If there's a whole bunch of it there, that's just because we've been ignoring it. If it's a whole bunch of it there, it isn't even that we haven't noticed. How many times have you passed by it noticing it's dusty or dirty, and you just chose not to do anything about it? And then suddenly it gets overbearing, and we're looking around trying to see who dumped all this dust into my clean place. Fire the imaginary maid. Because surely somebody should have been up in my house cleaning up my house for me. Surely my house shouldn't be this dirty. Been watching it build and not doing anything about it. There's a great awakening that's taking place here. In Scripture, there are a lot of references to house and where you build your house and the things that you do with your house. And it's a metaphor because your house is not just a physical location. Your house is a place in space and consciousness. It's where you dwell, not just where you reside. Your residence, you go into it, you go out of it, you're over here, another city, and you still have a residence someplace else. But that's not true with your spiritual house, your dwelling place. Your dwelling place is where you live, and you take you with you wherever you go. Okay? So you're sad, you're depressed, and you go from wherever, St. Louis to Maui. Maui can't make you happy. Maui just gives you a prettier place to be sad. But unless you decide to shift, you just bring the sadness with you to Maui. It's like that wherever we are. We keep thinking that there's someplace else we got to get to. There's something else that has to happen. I got to get out of here. Somebody else has to come in. This thing has to change. That thing has to change. The great awakening is within you. And here's the moment of the real awakening. Take a breath. The real moment of the great awakening is where you awaken wherever you are. The moment of the great awakening is not when you get out of or away from where you are, but even in the midst of where you are, you transcend it. What you're running from, you run into. What you're running from, you run into. The great awakening is realizing your power right where you are. Right where you are. Stop trying to get rid of people, places, and things and start standing in your power right where you are. I cannot say this enough. I was counseling somebody a couple of days ago, and they were talking about all the anxiety that they were having about the stuff that's going on in the world, and particularly stuff coming out of our White House. And I just looked at her and said, you got every reason to be anxious. There's some stuff that's coming down. Your anxiety is not unfounded. There's a great awakening, and we have to awaken. I said, but don't be feared. You can have fear, but don't be feared. Yes, there is a heightened sense of emergency. I like the way that Martin Luther King called it the urgency of now. There's an urgency of now that won't call for complicity. There's an urgency of now that won't let you just sit there with your little remote control zoning out on the boob tube. There's an urgency of now that's saying that we have to wake up. And people want to know, like, what to do. And the thing to do the most is to wake up. Wake up doesn't mean that you suddenly notice what everybody else is doing. Wake up means you figure out who you are. Check the difference. Wake up doesn't mean suddenly I'm going to pay attention to the news and I'm going to become all aware of what everybody is doing, or I'm going to be an expert on all the news. I'm going to be tweeting and Instagramming and Facebooking and whatnot, all the drama to make everybody know that I'm aware of all the drama. That's not waking up. That's staying in the trance. Isn't what I'm saying? You hypnotize people by keeping their attention riveted on something. That's how you hypnotize people. They become so riveted to it, so focused in their attention that they're captivated by it, and then they become under its suggestion. You can get hypnotized just by looking at the road. If you're driving, you have to move your eyes around. You have to refocus your attention. Because if you just keep staring at the road, you will become hypnotized by the road. And before you know it, you're going unconscious. Before you know it, you're veering off the road and doing all kinds of things that are reckless because you're not awake anymore. Okay? Whatever that is that you just keep riveting your attention on in a way that you get sucked into it, it's going to hypnotize you. The Great Awakening is when you can come to a place of transcendence. The Great Awakening is that moment when you realize, I am more than this. The Great Awakening is when you no longer have the narrative that whatever it is that's going on is bigger than you. The Great Awakening is when you get off the victim, villain, hero triangle. You have to get off the triangle. That's not to say that there isn't some victimization taking place. Your problem becomes when you identify with being a victim. Catch the difference in that. It's when that becomes your identity. People go through stuff, yes. You might be the survivor of childhood sexual abuse. Okay? I'm not asking you to forget your past, but I can tell you now if that's all you see and that's all that you think of yourself as being, life's going to be really tough. If you had an addiction and that really ruled and dominated your life, I'm not telling you to act like you don't have an addiction or you never were addicted. What I'm saying is that don't let that be your sole identity. You're bigger than that. We are bigger than that. Individually and collectively, we are bigger. And I don't care how dirty your house is. You're not your house. I don't care how dirty the house is. You're not the dust. You're not the stuff. That's not what happens. You're greater than that. But there has to be the great awakening. When stuff gets out of alignment, it doesn't just happen. There are circumstances and there are conditions. So right now in California, we're going through all these massive fires north of us. Just unprecedented. We're not unaccustomed to fires in California, but it's typically our forest. You know, it's typically something that can be contained. You know, you can put a ring around a forest fire. You can control to a certain extent, or at least not control, predict the speed at which it'll come. And now we have cities burning. Every time you hit a car, it's got gasoline. Every time you burn up a gas station, it's a boom, boom. It's like these explosions after explosions after explosions of the heat, because we've never seen anything like this, yes? Okay. But it didn't just happen. California has been dry for years. And yes, we got a little bit of rain, but it wasn't enough to make up the difference. Are you with me? The hurricanes and the other things, the earthquakes that have been happening in the other parts of the globe, they didn't just happen. Okay? Something has been going on. Something has been going on. So the awakening that happens is not just you becoming aware of the effects, you being aware of all the symptoms, but part of the great awakening is even becoming aware of how you might have contributed to the circumstances and conditions that were catalytic. Listen to what I'm saying. You're not just a victim anymore, where you're taking a look at it and going, maybe, just maybe, the way I've been living might have had something to do with this global warming. You know, maybe, just maybe, the way that the United States was acting might have had something to do with 9/11. I'm just saying that maybe we weren't picked out of the yellow pages. Okay? That maybe 3 targets, the Pentagon, our military, the World Trade Center commerce, the White House being 3 targets, American Airlines, United Airlines on our emergency number 911, 911. Maybe, just maybe there's a link between all of those. Maybe, I'm just saying. I'm not trying to glorify the people of 9/11 that took down the towers, but I am saying that if we keep staying on this victim-villain-hero triangle, considering ourselves to be the victim in this, and they're just the villain, in our efforts to be a hero, we start acting like a villain. Do people know what you stand for? not just what you stand against. Can people look at your listen to your conversations? Can they look at your social media? Can they see the things that you are doing and see what you stand for and not just against? Beware of the group mob think. The group mob think that says, the way that I know what you stand for is seeing what you stand against. Listen to that. The group mob think, where the way that I know what you stand for is looking at what you stand against, whom you stand against. That's pain pushing until vision pulls. And it keeps all of your attention on what you don't want. Everything is energy. It doesn't matter whether you want it or you don't want it. You manifest what has your attention. It doesn't matter whether you want it or don't want it. Your attention is a demand in the universe for that thing to happen. Let's let that settle in. It's the amount of attention that you give it. One of the dumbest things I think I'd ever seen in campaigning was those signs and billboards, love trumps hate. Anybody see those? Who put it out? You don't even know. If it was supposed to be for somebody's campaign, you sure don't know it. There's nothing in it that says that. This isn't even a political statement. I'm using this example because it's in the collective consciousness which we can all relate to. Why would you put your opponent's name on your sign and don't have your name on it? And how many of us are doing that now? Listen to what I'm saying. In your conversation, in your Facebook, in your social media, in your emails, in your memes and all that stuff, how much of it has all about the stuff you don't even want and doesn't have your vision on it? Doesn't have your name in it, so to speak. Doesn't have your dream, doesn't have where you're going. That's not being awake. That's not being awake. That's being sucked into it. And I cannot begin to tell you how important it is right now. We have so much stimuli. We have so much news and electronic information that's coming. And it's like this. It's like a little TikTok. Don't pay attention to what you need to pay attention to. Pay attention to this. Keep talking about this. Keep talking about this. And you won't notice what you really need to notice. Keep noticing this, noticing this, noticing this. Now, everybody's talking about this and not what we need to be talking about. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. I can't even see what I think that I want because I'm so busy trying to stop this tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. All my energy. Why won't this thing stop ticking? What are we going to do to make this stop tick-tocking? I'm tired of this tick-tock. Aren't you afraid of this tick-tock? What are we going to do about the tick-tock, tick-tock? I'm just saying. Wake up. Wake up. We have power. We have individual power. We have collective power. And it will be whatever we decree. It will be whatever it is we decree. But we have to be consistent. We have to be in alignment. It would probably not be a shock to you that I was a very big Obama fan. I love me some Barack Obama. And he and Michelle, to me, were just the classiest things I had ever seen. I don't know how they did it. You know, growing up, my motto was, what would Jesus do? Because he was kind of like that model in my mind of how do you walk in the world amongst a whole bunch of crap and still like stay upstairs. Well, I'm not trying to deify the Obamas, but I always try to find instances in the world of possibility that call me up and out to say, hey, they're doing it. Let that inspire you. Not that you've got to be like them, but it's like you can do that. I can't even imagine what the Obamas went through for 8 years. Wanda Sykes does this beautiful routine in her show, I'ma Be Me, which came out in 2008, right at the election time. And she said, Michelle Obama has a rod down her neck and her spine. She says, you know it. You can tell it. She says, because you just see her sometimes. She's just, it's like people say some crazy shit, and she's like, oh, I said it. Whoops. That, that you know, you can tell her hair wants to go, oh, girl, and she's just can't turn it. So I'm using this as an example, okay? And I'm talking about my own life now. And you apply it to your life in whatever that is that's going on in your life. But I've had a chance to see a couple of videos of Michelle and Barack not too long ago. And still the way they show up with such dignity. Even when they are talking about all of these efforts to completely tear down their legacy, but they're still showing up with such dignity. Okay? So I had a flash a couple of days ago of when Martin Luther King Jr. was killed. And I remember that exact moment when I heard the news. I was in junior high at the time, at Audubon Junior High in Los Angeles. I was president of the junior council, which meant that part of my job responsibility was like internal security, safety sort of thing. To work with the administration and all of that about how we police ourselves and keep ourselves safe. And part of my job was the halls and all of the rest of that. So we're about maybe 2,400 students, pretty much a third at that point, like third white, third black, third Japanese American. There weren't many Latinos in the school at that particular time. So I remember all of a sudden it was just pandemonium. The high school students started coming through and telling everybody, come out, come out, come out. They killed King, motherfucker, killed King, they killed King. And everybody was like trying to figure out what to do. And boom, Los Angeles went up in flames. Like a lot of places went up in flames. So this is 68. It wasn't that long after the Watts riots. Like, boom, it's like it went up in flames. And I remember how much my heart hurt. And thinking, I am so glad that King isn't alive to see this. I couldn't imagine how hurt he would have been to watch people burning and killing in his name. And I think we've got a similar thing now. So my personal practice, I stopped and I asked myself, what would Barack and Michelle think about what I'm about to say here now, or what I'm about to put out? Is that glorifying the legacy that I'm saying that I want to protect? Does this reflect them? Does it reflect their consciousness? Am I really standing with them? Not just for them? You get the difference? Am I standing with them and the consciousness that I want to see? Or am I getting sucked into the TikTok and acting like the very things that I don't even like? Being as nasty, as mean-spirited, as separate, as divisive, as accusatory, or whatever, as the very things that I'm saying that I don't like. That's not awake. That's using our powers in the wrong way. Whatever that is that you believe in, whatever that is that you're passionate about, whatever that is that you are awakening to, let your light so shine it, be it so much, that you are such a beautiful representation of it that people want to join you in it. I don't use war imagery a lot, but I'm going to use it now because I think it's appropriate. We are in an energetic battle. Okay? When we're saying, what do? We want something to do. Shift your energy. That's the biggest thing that you can do right now. Listen to what I am saying. The biggest thing you can do is become what you want to see and take your actions from there. Be the compassion, be the forgiveness, be the love. We are in an energetic battle. That's the way war is happening now. Even on a military level. People aren't going in with clubs. They're manipulating energy and turning energy into weapons of mass destruction. But energy is just energy. We don't need to use our energy as weapons of mass destruction. We need to use our energy for that which is enlivening, that which is redemptive, that which is whole, that which is restorative, that which is inclusive, that which is embracing, that which honors everything that we say that we are about. That's our charge now. Create in us a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within us. If you look at any Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Malala, Mother Teresa, Desmond Tutu, the Dalai Lama, I mean, we could just go on and on and on. These are people who are exemplifying what I'm talking about. Okay? Going up higher doesn't make you weak or mamby-pamby. Going up higher gets you in touch with your power. Because as long as you're angry, you're tick, tock, tick tock, tick tock. As long as you're playing with people's bat and ball and reacting and reacting to their game, you can't respond with your own power. Wake up! Wake up! Or as the young people say now, stay woke. Stay woke. This awakening is a process that's a continuous process. It's not like you get into bed and bing, 6:30 the alarm, and like you're now awake for the day. We fall asleep maybe every other minute. We go into forgetfulness. So it's this constant reawakening. This constant reawakening. This constant reawakening. And if you want to know what to do, you got to do that first. Because the people you want to align with, the places that you want to go, you want to do it with the woke first, with the wake people. You don't want to put all your energy into TikTokers. Okay? That's just putting the stuff you don't want on your billboard and advertising it. No, wake up. And the good thing about this energetic battle, the good thing about it is that the truth always rises. The good thing about it is that truth dissipates all the other stuff. That good thing about it is that it feels so good and it feels so empowering that it's like if you're in a smoggy room and there's a window that opens up, boom, like anybody that really wants to breathe, it's going to go to the window. It's going to go to the air. Bring some air. Wake up. And I don't care it doesn't matter. I'm talking politics or the political arena because it's a collective experience. Maybe this is about your finances. Maybe this is about your health condition. Maybe this is about what's going on in your home. But I'm sure the gist of what I am saying as pure principle you can apply and perhaps apply to multiple areas of your life because the truth is the truth, is the truth, is the truth, is the truth. Okay? Are you ready to wake up?
Yes.
Ready to stay woke? Let's say it 3 times. I stay woke.
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 That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Stay woke.